today. He served in his current role since 2017, having previously served as general manager from 2013 to 2016. For the first 5 Naturals seasons, he served as the team's assistant general manager. He began his career as a full-time employee with the organization back in 2004 and worked 4 seasons with the Wichita Wranglers before that group kind of became the Naturals here. He grew up in Barker, New York, and is a December '02 graduate of the University of Buffalo. He resides in Springdale with his wife Kristen, daughter Olivia, and son Carson. Please welcome Justin Cole, and he'll introduce his guest.
A much happier day for me with the Bills having won yesterday. My mood might have been a little more somber having to do this today, but thankfully they pulled that out. But we're always very happy to be here. I'm not going to actually talk for too long. I'm going to turn it over to some of our guests we have here from the Kansas City Royals and Shawn Murnin, the voice of the Naturals, and he'll lead us in an introduction of them and a Q&A. But I wanted to just give a few quick updates on our upcoming season, things you can hopefully look forward to at the ballpark. Again, my name is Justin Cole. I'm the general manager of the Naturals. I want to just thank you all for being here. I know it's not baseball weather outside, but great to have everybody here, and looking forward to another great season here in just under 3 months over at Arvest Ballpark. A couple areas, ballpark updates, promotions, a few quick team updates, and then I'm going to turn it over to some folks that can speak a little more eloquently on the baseball side of things. Over at Arvest Ballpark, opened in 2008. Seems hard to believe that we're already in 2025. Fantastic facility. Through our ownership and great partnership with the city of Springdale, we've been able to continue to invest in it, not only from the fan-facing side, from the baseball side of things. So I think I'm biased, obviously, but I still think it could pass as almost a brand new ballpark. It was built well, and we try and do our best to take care of it and keep it to that standard. We've invested some funds lately. Major League Baseball, across all 120 minor league teams, has some standards they want you to uphold, and thankfully for us, with the foresight and great construction of the ballpark, our improvements were deemed minor. Still not maybe minor all the time from the cost, but we upgraded our field, visiting clubhouse, getting in compliance with everything that needs to be done. So from a Major League Baseball standpoint, we're in fantastic shape. And again, I hope from all your perspective, from a fan-facing standpoint, we continue to do that as well. We're investing in some areas this off-season up in our video production, continue to try and stay on the leading edge of that. We'll debut a new racer in our poultry derby race. Stay tuned for that. And we're continuing to just look for other ways we can try and improve the experience for everyone that comes in and out of Arvest Ballpark each season. We announced a few of our promotions today. We're still working to finalize a couple others. Tickets are on sale now, so if you're really excited after hearing me speak, go to the website, snatch up those tickets. Opening day is Tuesday, April 8th. We'll be playing the Frisco Rough Riders, AA affiliated Texas Rangers, so count the days for that to get here. We actually open on the road this year, though, so the team will arrive, get to kind of acclimate themselves to our facility, then we go on the road for 3 games in Tulsa. First time we've opened on the road in a couple of years, and we'll come back home for that Tuesday, April 8th, first 6-game homestand. We have 18 fireworks shows this year, so Friday nights, like everyone's used to. We added some Saturday shows, 5 Saturdays. The Friday night shows do include July 4th. The Saturday shows do include July 5th, so going to be a great busy weekend, that holiday weekend out at the ballpark. We also have a Sunday show, that Memorial Day Sunday on May 25th, so a lot of fireworks, a lot of fun to look forward to there. We have Growlin' Chickens Weekend every year. Going to have a new logo for that this year, new cap, new jersey, new fun things we're going to do July 11th and 12th for Growlin' Chickens Weekend. Hope you can get out and enjoy that. Our Los Naturales weekend, or I guess week, will be August 20th to the 22nd. And then trying some new stuff this year. We'll have giveaways, so Bobby Wood Jr. bobblehead. We're going to have a Growlin' Chickens giveaway as well. And we're looking at a couple others right now that we're trying to work on, some wearables and other things we hope fans will get a kick out of. But it's we're going to have a Peanuts night. We're going to wear a Charlie Brown themed jersey this year in May. And to balance that out, because there was a Charlie Brown movie somewhat recently, we're looking to finalize a Bluey night as well that I think the kiddos will get a big kick out of. Have Bluey appear at the ballpark, get to take pictures with as many kids that we can round up from Northwest Arkansas in June. Daily Values coming back, Buck and Brock, Thirsty Thursdays. We give away a free snack to kids on Sundays as well as kids run the bases. So just continuing to try to lean into the things we see folks like and try some new different things. We're going to have a Harry Potter night in August this year, specialty jersey, working directly with Warner Brothers on that. So a lot of exciting things as well as Star Wars night. That's not going anywhere, as well as Faith and Family night. So a lot of things to look forward to. They're all listed on our website. Go check those out again. Hopefully you can secure your tickets for those. Two quick updates as well on our team. Quick review of last season. It was a great season at the ballpark. A ton of fantastic players made their way through. We had 10 of the top 30 Royals prospects play for us last year. Just to highlight a couple, I'm probably not going to get his last name right, even though his sister interned for us. Ben Kuderna, great young pitcher, ended the season with us, had a fantastic year. Great to see him pitch. Carter Jensen, his battery mate, catcher, had an awesome year behind the plate. He played in the Arizona Fall League as well. Two great young players to keep an eye on, moving up the Royals ranks. Then Gavin Cross was a first-round pick, played right field for us, had a really strong season as well. So those are just, again, there's a lot of names. Those are three that kind of jumped out to me. And then we had, I think a big key, again, just from my point of view of looking at it, if you can get on the 40-man roster, that's a huge accomplishment for a player in the minor leagues. And we had 3 naturals get added to the Royals 40-man roster at the end of the last year. Eric Sarantola, definition of a fireballing reliever, big guy, throws hard. He got added. Again, name pronunciation, this is Shawn's domain, not mine. I think Luinder Avila. He got added as well. Great young pitcher. And as well, Noah Cameron, who I thought was a great story this year. He's a lefty. He's a UCA guy, correct, Shawn? And started the year out. He got promoted to us the year prior. He came in, kind of was the rock for our rotation. He went to AAA and was just phenomenal. So he had a great year. He got added to the 40-man roster. I'm really excited to see where those 3 guys will progress as well. But again, a lot of names I'm not mentioning had great years for us and lead to a lot of hopeful excitement coming into 2025. And then again, a couple quick things on our big league affiliate, the Royals. I hope you all remember. It seems like it was a lot longer ago, but it was less than a year. We actually had the Royals here in Springdale playing an exhibition game against our Naturals. It was a total full circle moment when I got to go down and kind of check it all out, and Salvador Perez comes walking out of the clubhouse as I think, future Hall of Famer, and we got to see him back in 2011 when he was on his way up, and he's there as a Royal with the whole big league team, as well as Bobby Witt Jr., who did so many great things for us just a few short years ago. So that was just an awesome moment. I mean, from my perspective, I was lucky enough to be here back in April of '08, and that was the same kind of emotions that I had when that first game was coming up. Excitement, enthusiasm, anticipation. So that was a really cool thing that we were able to accomplish, and very grateful that Kansas City was able to help us make that happen. And again, I hope everyone here is a huge Royals fan is aware, but Royals clinched a wild card berth last year, defeated Baltimore. Fortunately lost to the Yankees, but hopefully something they can build on this year. It was great to see so many former Naturals participating on that team, contributing to that team, and I don't think if you follow baseball even loosely, you'll know Bobby Witt Jr. was a great contributor to our Naturals 2021 team that won the Texas League. And last year, just to rattle off a few of his accomplishments in case you weren't aware, second the AL MVP, All-Star, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, led Major League Baseball, .332 batting average, led him with 211 hits, 88 extra base hits, 109 RBIs, 31 steals. That's pretty good stuff, and he's got a long career ahead of him. So can't wait to see where he leads the Royals in future years. But again, I'm going to turn it over to some folks that certainly know much more about that side of things than I do, and I don't want to steal all Shawn's thunder. He's going to lead us in a Q&A and get to know our guests a little bit better. So I'm going to turn it over now to Shawn Murnin, voice of the Naturals. Shawn is entering his 3rd season with us here in Northwest Arkansas. Previously spent time in similar roles, Bowling Green Hot Rods, Hagerstown Suns, and a few other stops along the way. And then Shawn's going to introduce our guests. We have Mitch Maier, Director of Player Development from the Kansas City Royals, and Brooks Conrad, the new manager for the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. So Shawn, I will turn it over to you. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate being here.
Try and make sure that I can talk down into this microphone. So as Justin just said, baseball season's right around the corner. We're actually 74 days away from opening day in Tulsa, and our home opener is 78 days away. You guys are counting all of that. As Justin said, I'm Shawn Murnin. I'm the radio broadcaster for the Naturals. And then we have our eighth manager in team history. Yep, it's Brooks Conrad. And then the Royals Director of Player Development, Mitch Maier. For Brooks, this is his 9th season with the Royals, the last 3 years. He was with our High A affiliate up in Quad Cities. He was also in Columbia with the Fireflies, which was Carolina League, right, Brooks?
Yes.
Back in 2021. 2019, he led the Lexington Legends, who were at the time the Low A affiliate, to the league championship in the South Atlantic League, and started his managerial career in 2018 with the Burlington Royals, which used to be a short season affiliate. He's also a former big leaguer. He played nearly 300 Major League Baseball games over his career with the Athletics, the Braves, the Brewers, the Rays, and the Padres. So that'll be our new manager this year, Brooks Conrad. And then we have Mitch Maier. This is his 4th year as the Director of Player Development. He's the Director of Baseball Operations for the Kansas City Royals 2020-2021. Also, Royals first base coach 2018-2019. He's a first-round draft pick by Kansas City back in 2003. I almost said 2023, Mitch. That would make sense. Parts of 6 seasons in the majors and played 25 games for Northwest Arkansas in 2014. So if you guys have questions during this thing, these are going to be the guys that are probably going to know the answers. But Brooks, let's start with you. So after a couple of years at the High A level, what are you looking forward to most about taking over at the Double A stage now? There's a lot of guys that you already know.
Yeah, it's correct. It'll be, like I said, I was in Quad Cities, managing the River Bandits the last 3 seasons. So coming up to Double A this year, Northwest Arkansas. It should be a pretty good mix of guys that I've managed with over the course of the last 3 seasons. So I'm really excited to rekindle all those relationships that we started a few years back, and just kind of see where those guys are at and help them make the next jump in their career.
Absolutely, and somebody that oversees a lot of that development and a lot of these guys is Mitch Maier. Mitch, I guess I'll give you a super broad question. How's the offseason gone player development-wise for you guys?
Good. And can everyone hear me? All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. So obviously outside of the window of the season, within player development, there's still a lot that takes place. The offseason is an important time. We have strength camp and structural league in the fall, followed by a winter camp that's taking place next week as we lead up to spring training. So there's still a lot of activity going on in player development. It's been a good offseason. As we plan for next year, I think Justin, highlighted some of the players that were here last year, and it's going to be a continual pipeline as it's been for players that are going to play for us in Kansas City. But it's been a great offseason. We're looking forward to spring training. Obviously, weather like this makes that even more enticing as we get to early February and head to Arizona and get ready for this next season.
Brooks, we talk about all that time in Quad Cities, and the guys that we've had here the last couple of years, obviously you've seen.
Yeah.
But there's more guys coming now that you're here that are they're kind of the prospect level tier guys, right? Like the whatever you want to call it, high impact guys. What, through those relationships and through the time that you've been a manager so far, what are you looking to kind of progress in as you get here with these guys?
Well, this is a whole new step for them, for the guys that haven't been in this league before. The Texas League AA competition is a big step forward. I think nowadays the step from each level, from rookie ball to low A to high A to AA, AAA, obviously to the big leagues, each level you go up is a substantially bigger step than it had been in the past. And so just trying to help these new guys that have been, this will be their first season in AA, kind of help them through those struggles and help them get better, make adjustments quicker, just to keep their window in the game open as long as they can, and try to, me and Mitch obviously played the game for a long time and played the game at the highest level, and played the game at the minor league level as well. So just the perspectives that we can share and help these guys is why I'm here and do what I do, is just to help them as much as I can. So looking forward to seeing what the AA competition has. I haven't seen it in 20 years. I think I went through this league in 2004, so it's been a long time, and so it should be a good fun opportunity for me to even go visit a lot of these old towns that I went to see a long time ago.
We'll get to that in a little while. Brooks played for the Round Rock Express at one point when they were part of this league, and then a short time for Corpus Christi, not too long after that. But so he kind of knows the league a little bit. Mitch, you know the league pretty well too. You've obviously, in your capacity, you have to know every league. Was there anything, or maybe a couple of things throughout the system? You're watching all these games every night. I know you are. That maybe stuck out through the minor league season last year for you, whether it's, maybe it was a really cool or interesting game, or maybe it was progress that you saw over the course of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to your point, the visibility has never been greater to follow our teams, which is great. But for me, every night, and one of the most proud of things that I feel like for our organization, and it's extremely important, is that when we turn on a game every night, our starting pitching throughout the system, no matter if I was watching Columbia or our A-ball team, Quad Cities where Brooks is at, obviously the group here, highlighted by Noah Cameron and Ben Cooter and Steven Zobak and others. But every night when we turn on a game, there's a starting pitcher that's throwing that has an opportunity to help us in Kansas City. And that's extremely important, as we all know. And again, our player development system has to be the pipeline to help us. You look at Alec Marsh and Chris Bubich, and obviously we've traded Brady Singer, someone that was a former first-round draft pick that was a big part of our rotation. It's going to continue to be something that we'll supply the major league team with and help us sustain the success from last season. But that's probably one of the most proud of things when I talk about Paul Gibson, I talk about our pitching group. That's a really important piece of our player development, is to ensure the depth of our starting pitching as we move through the system. And then, at each level as well, our catching depth is probably as strong as it's ever been, from Salvador to Freddie Fermin at the major league level, down to, Ramon Ramirez, who was in Arizona for us last year as an 18-year-old, and even our international signing class that we just signed, one of our highlighted players was a young Venezuelan catcher. So our catching depth is really, really good. We have two great catchers at the big league level, but you look at our system across every level. Carter Jensen got to finished very strong after his success in Quad Cities. You have Blake Mitchell, a young catching prospect that's on the horizon that at some point will cross into Northwest Arkansas. So turning on every night and getting to watch our player development system, seeing the starting pitching, seeing the catching depth, and then highlighted by some of the other individuals, Gavin Cross, who was here, and obviously Jack Caglione, who's going to be someone that's going to be talked about in the organization for a long time, obviously, with what he did at University of Florida last year as our top selection. So really excited with the talent level that we have. And again, they'll continue to feed through this, and you'll get an opportunity to watch the future stars of the Royals every year, no different than the former players you got a chance to watch.
Mm-hmm. And to Mitch's point, last year, second most strikeouts in a single season for the Naturals since opening up the team here in 2008. The only other time that they had more strikeouts in a season as a pitching staff was the year prior in 2023. So things are trending in a pretty good direction on that side of it. Mitch brought Jack Caglione up. Brooks, you got the first look at him really last year when he went to full season. What was that like, seeing a guy that had that much fanfare, coming into Quad Cities? Yeah,
you don't see that every day. I mean, first off about Jack, when you first see him and first meet him, first get introduced to him, is just the sheer size of this man. He's an imposing figure, but then you get to know him, introduce him. Incredible character, human being, super nice, great teammate. But you talk about the fanfare. I mean, it's the first time I've managed in Quad Cities for 3 years. We had our back parking lot. There's fans back there waiting outside the gate after the game for the first time in 3 years to try to get this guy's autograph. When we show up to cities on the road, there's usually some autograph seekers here and there. Every city we went to, pulling up even to the hotel on the field, there's 10, 20, 30 people out there all waiting for Jack to get his autograph. So it was he had to deal with that, I'm sure, a lot at Florida, but at the next level, it's just only going to keep getting bigger from there. So the learning experience for him. The other thing I really want to talk about Jack is the incredible competitor that he is. Putting a little bit of too much pressure on himself to start out, but then learning how to deal with that, and he really finished the season strong for us. So I was really proud of the way he handled all the extra stuff that goes along with being a professional baseball player, and it's just gonna keep getting bigger from here. So really proud of the way he handled everything and finished up the season. It was outstanding.
He's part of a contingency of guys. You think about Blake Mitchell, him, Kudrna, Carter Jensen, Mazzucato, all those guys. They're starting to make their way into the upper parts of this system. So, Mitch, when you look at that group of guys, how do you feel seeing the Cagliones and Kudrnas and all those guys growing as players? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, that's your guys' jobs, right, is to try and help them maximize talent, and it seems like that's happening.
Yeah, no, 100%. It starts obviously with the scouts identifying the players, us obviously having the opportunity to select those players, whether it's Ben Kudrna or Carter Jensen or Gavin Cross and now Jack in last year's draft. But seeing that group and seeing the way that they're gelling, seeing the way that they're coming together, it is really important because that is essentially the next core of talent that's making its way up to the major leagues. And we talk about, again, we had a good season last year. We were in position to continue to do that going into this season with re-signing Michael Walker, the trade for Jonathan India. But then now how do we sustain it? And that's the next group of players. And that's going to be Carter, it's going to be Jack, that's going to be Noah Cameron, Blake Mitchell. That group coming and continuing to support the major league team and be the next wave. Obviously, Bobby's going to be here for a long time, so joining the likes of Bobby and Vinny and Massey is going to be a crucial part of that, and that core group of individuals will be a big part of our future in Kansas City.
And obviously, we've seen a few of them here already. Seems like there's more on the way at some point. We're not going to box you into a corner there, Mitch. But with some of the guys that have been here, Mitch, you played here. Brooks, you played in the league. You were an all-star in 2004, by the way, in the Texas League. But what do you remember from your time going through? Obviously, the makeup was a little bit different at that point, but what are some things that you remember going through the league that maybe you're looking forward to seeing again?
Just the bigger scale cities, the lower minor league, or a lot of smaller towns. You're coming from the Midwest League, where you're going to a lot of the small Midwest League towns. Really enjoyed that, but looking forward to seeing towns like San Antonio again, and Tulsa and Wichita, and some of these places that we went through a long time ago, going back to Frisco. So just excited to go on the road trips with these guys and kind of revisit some of these old cities. But also, like I talked about before, the competition level, interested to see where that is compared to it was when I played. I know if you've gotten to AA level, these guys have been doing a lot of things right and have really produced out there on the baseball field and are really high caliber baseball players. So the guys that you guys get to see playing for the Naturals and the teams that come in to play against us are very talented baseball players. They've done a lot of really good stuff to get to this level where they're at. They sacrifice a lot and put hours and hours of work in. So it should be fun baseball to watch. And the group that we've had, that I've been a pleasure to manage the last 3 years, and the teams that Mitch and all of our scouts have put together, it's just an incredible group of young men that really are close-knit with each other. So they're going to be fun games to watch because these guys are playing for more than just themselves. They're playing as a close-knit group. And it's fun to watch. So I'm excited for all that stuff. As you can tell, I'm pretty excited. I keep talking and rambling, but I'm excited for this season and excited to get going this year in Northwest.
Well, I don't think you're rambling. I think you're just giving some good answers.
Okay.
Mitch, you've been in your position, like we said, the last few years, and you've been throughout the organization, various roles. You've seen a lot of the relationship between the Royals and the Naturals over the years here in Springdale. To you, what makes this partnership work so well as far as you guys being able to send people to this area and then, having the facility that we do to be able to put on a show?
Yeah, I think, Justin's been here since the very beginning. And I think that consistency, you talked about the foresight in building the stadium. It's hard to believe, with all the facility standards that are put in place, and you look at the minimum amounts of improvements that were required. I think that speaks volumes on the foresight of the facility that we were able to move into when we transitioned from Wichita into Northwest Arkansas in 2008. And then again, the consistency working with Justin day in, day out. I mean, I was a player in Wichita when Justin started, and as I've transitioned, I've known Justin from a long time from my coaching, but that transition into this role for me and having someone like Justin in place, that level of consistency, again, a wonderful facility, for our players to go to. That's really been, a staple of, again, our organization since 2008. And a lot of it, again, has to do with the facility that was built, and then Justin and the work that his team does really makes our partnership, it really makes it easy, honestly. So thank you for that. And, we're going to be happier to be a part of this community in Northwest Arkansas.
If you talk about some of the things that have gone on between, obviously, the Royals and the Naturals. Justin mentioned the exhibition game last year. That was the first time that we saw the new look uniforms and the logos and designs and everything on the field. Mitch, you got to take a look at that. So we'll start with you. What did you think, and what do you think going in about the kind of new logo and colors and everything that we've taken in from last year?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's outstanding. I see some of the logos on some of the branding. My son's got a hat, but obviously, over time as things get rebranded and things change, I think it was a good it was a great update, and I think it fits very well, obviously, with Northwest Arkansas and what this community and region of this country is about. So I really like the additions. Our players, everyone else does as well, and credit to Justin and the group that went through and made the updates, keeping things fresh and up to date.
And Brooks, you got your first look at them here today. They were in the clubhouse when you got to the ballpark. What'd you think?
I think they're sweet. Mitch talked about this region, this area. I look at the hat and some of these logos. I love the outdoors myself. Love to hunt and fish and get out in the woods. So when I put those hats on and see the jerseys, it's going to kind of give me a calming sensation of where I like to be and see the river going through the trees. That awesome design. Whoever came up with that is really cool. I'll probably wear that around town back home when I get my hats.
I love that.
Yeah.
So at this point, I wanted to see, does anybody have any questions for either one of these guys?
How did players and coaches rank our best ballpark in Northwest Arkansas as far as an assignment to work and to play here compared to other options they might have? Are they happy to come here, or is this something they're not looking forward to? I'm just curious to how they feel about it.
No, they love it. Coaches, players alike, they love coming here. Again, for a facility that was built in 2008, the clubhouse, the coaches set up, you talk about the batting cages, the weight room, the food room, all in the proximity. That's what the big leagues is. And again, this was 2008. So as minor league baseball has evolved, that foresight to build the stadium like that has really paid dividends, and our staff loves it. Our players love it. It's as good as you can get in minor league baseball from a facility standpoint, and then the community, and then you look at the growth around Arvis Ballpark. Our players, a lot of our players used to stay, closer up to 412 Sunset. Now with all those apartments, they're all right there, and they really feel, part of the community. They can get down to Fayetteville, up to Bentonville. Like they love coming here. It's a huge draw. And again, I've never had a staff member or player say anything bad about coming and playing here. They've loved it every time.
You want to add anything, Brooks?
Yeah, it was my first time this morning touring the ballpark and being here. When I went through the league, like I said, it was 20 years ago. This park wasn't here, so incredible facility. I was blown away. It just looks like a big old cathedral with the brick side when I was out, walking into the building. So really incredible facility. Lucky to get an opportunity to be here for this summer and hopefully going forward for a few more years. So really nice ballpark. When we came up in the minor leagues playing, there weren't a whole lot of ballparks that looked this nice. So these kids coming up to the minor leagues have it pretty good now. They got a lot of really good facilities for them to play in.
Does anybody else have a question? Yeah, back there.
You read about in the major leagues about all the Tommy John surgeries, all the other things that are happening to the shoulders, and some of the major league teams are going to a six-man rotation. What will you be doing to help protect these young arms that are coming up?
Yeah, it's a, whether it's off-season training and their throwing programs in the off-season, it's in-season, it's monitoring, innings, pitch counts. That's all a part of it. Because yes, I mean we're fully aware of, the arm injuries that the industry has taken on over time, and a lot of it is due to some of the training methods and frankly access that some players have year round. Which they're leveraging to put the work in to become better, but also it's obviously takes its toll on them physically. So making sure that we're building out off-season plans, off-season throwing programs that align with their health in mind. As spring training is getting players built up and ramped up for the start of the season, so that when we hit April 4th, we're ready to go. And that's when the season starts and we can have a healthy season. So that is something that is constantly in the forefront of our mind on how we're reducing injury risk. We know that the availability of a player and even the development of the player, they have to be healthy in order to perform and in order for them to get the opportunities to develop. So not only obviously at the major league level, we want health for performance and whatnot, but for development, like we have to ensure their health, and we have to make sure that we're doing everything right to do that. And again, a lot of it's reflecting on our medical team and using all the resources in place to ensure health of our players. And we've had a few injuries, but I think industry-wide we've done a good job. And our medical team, performance team, whether it's performance science, medical, strength and conditioning, and then leaning on the pitching coaches and our pitching development team, have done a really good job at putting together plans that allow players to develop while obviously mitigating that risk of injury. And so it's definitely a topic in the forefront. And again, you mentioned whether it's 6-man rotations. The minor league is a little different on how we expose players to that and how we go about, whether they're pitching on their 5th day, which would be deemed as normal rest, previously, or if it's a 6-man rotation, which we've done here at times with a Tuesday through Sunday schedule. So we've naturally had some of that. But then a lot of it's just innings and workloads. What are they doing in between their starts? The relievers that are throwing, how are we building up their thresholds in an appropriate way to prepare them for the big leagues, but also make sure that we're ensuring health along the way. So it's definitely something that's at the forefront of our mind, and we take pride in that, and it is something that in the industry though that's been out there looming. So.
Yep.
Hey, I'm just curious about how trades are made and when somebody's sent down to or goes back up to the next whatever. How does that affect you as a ball club that you lost a player, that somebody's been sent up to AAA?
Yeah.
Do you have any kinds of things that it bothers you or it messes with your schedule and all of that?
Yeah, which, over the last several years, some of the roster construction with the size of the rosters, that's been part of the changes in Major League Baseball. We're allowed 28-man roster, so to speak, at double and triple A levels, and then it's a 30 person roster at the A-ball clubs. That's helped a lot with some of the, and then we're talking about just transactions back and forth throughout the system, whether it's injury related or promotion of a player, that sometimes has a trickle-down effect if we promote someone to the big leagues and we have a hole to fill. There's not a cascading effect necessarily that needs to take place due to the roster sizes. Back when there were 25 players on a roster, it obviously created much more of a kind of a domino effect where you had to start making other moves in order to make sure that you had a pitcher in place for the next day or a position player in place. Where again, so we've been afforded a roster and a construction that allows us to have a little more flexibility, so there's not quite as many of those pain points. But as we look at player development, and there's kind of twofold on the question. There's the trade aspect of it, which is from organization to organization, and then internally as our players are promoted or At times, players, will be sent back if that's needed, whether it's from the major league club or, from AAA to AA. That's, I would say, rarer within the development that we're sending players down or demoting players, but it does certainly happen. But a lot of that goes into opportunity. What's the right timing of when a player should be promoted to the next level? Again, is it opportunity? Are they performing well? So we put a lot of factors into those decisions. And then trade-wise, that's organization. That's typically, obviously, you're getting something in return to where, I brought up the, Brady Singer and Jonathan India, and Joey Weimer's the other player we received from Cincinnati. That's, in a case like that, since, that's a match where both organizations were looking at, filling in some needs for this upcoming season. And it helped us on the offense side by adding someone like Jonathan India and someone that has upside like Joey Weimer, and then Cincinnati, receives starting pitcher, which was a prior in their needs. So those conversations happen organization, organically over certain times of the year, but right now they can still be taking place. They're more prevalent during the trade deadline, winter meetings, in the off season when you start discussing how you're building out your next year's team and what are the possible ways that you can acquire or construct a roster, whether it's free agents, trades, obviously, and then through our development system, as you look at acquiring players, just what makes sense for each team is kind of how those conversations go.
Well, I believe that's all we have time for.
You got one more in the back.
Oh, what's up?
I thought we had one more. There it is.
All right, we'll do a quick one.
Okay.
For you?
Sure. Well, I don't know what he's got.
What do you got, Ken?
Thank you, Mr. Murnin. When you're looking at ball players to bring into the organization as a bona fide prospect, leagues, or would you rather them play a couple of years in college baseball before they commit to minor leagues?
I wouldn't say that we necessarily have a preference on that. I think, because we certainly acquired high school players. You look at Ben Cooner, Frank Mazzucato, Carter Jensen. Last year we drafted David Shields, a left-handed pitcher from Pittsburgh area. So we're definitely not opposed to it. I think what makes sense, there's certain players that whether it's from a skill level, maturity level, like there's certain players that their best option would be going to college maybe at that time. But there's also players that are ready to step into the professional ranks, and I think that's part of, again, our scouting department getting to understand the player, know the player, meet their family, and that stuff settles itself a little bit along the way on players' readiness and how prepared they are to step into professional baseball, versus going to college and maybe needing some more time. So I think, again, as they navigate their junior, senior years, like a lot of that comes in the conversations that are happening with our area scouts, getting to know the players. Those things are taking place. But that is obviously something that, we value a lot on acquiring a player is, are they ready for what professional baseball is? And again, it's year-round, the length of the season, the demands of it are really important that a player is prepared from a maturation standpoint to handle that, and then obviously physically as well. So, and Brooks, I don't know if you have anything.
Well,
on it
yeah,
too.
and he's talking about, are they prepared? Well, you don't really know until they go through those first couple full seasons, and that's where guys like me come in, the manager of the club. It's my job to get them to play with the proper energy, the proper effort, the entire season, and a lot of times over the course of such a long season, you come out as a player and sometimes you're just a little bit tired and maybe you don't feel like putting that effort forth. And so it's guys like my job is to help them through those times, help them understand what it means, what it looks like to give your best effort over the course of the entire season. So you hear Mitch talk, a lot of these questions are more towards his area, specialty. Then you kind of realize that professional baseball, it's a professional business is what it is, but the product that, Kansas City Royals puts out there on the field are baseball players, and baseball players are human beings as well. And so that's another big part of what makes Kansas City's organization such a special organization is that Mitch does it better than anybody, along with the entire front office, owner, all the way down from the GM, all the way down to the development, player development-wise. That we keep a human aspect of what we do. We understand it's a business. A lot of it goes into that part, like you talk about guys getting called up, moved down, moved up, getting traded, getting released. It is a business, and there's a business aspect to it, but you have to keep that human element to it. And teach them those perspectives along the way. So we do a great job of that, and I think it's a good mix of that. So thank you for having us today. Appreciate all the questions. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you. Thanks for coming. You bet.
Thanks for having us, Dane.
You bet.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You want to come through this way? Board cords, yeah.